And she appreciated it. And so she filmed it, like everything he'd done. And she was really proud of him and like just thankful and grateful.
Yeah.
And she posted it and then proceeded to get absolutely roasted in the comments. Everyone's saying, why does he get thanked for something that he should be doing?
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, but you've even brought this up to me too. When you go to a restaurant and somebody brings you your food or they clean off your table, are you not going to thank them because it's their fucking job? Or are you just going to be kind and say thank you?
Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off. I am Matt.
I'm Paige.
In today's episode, we're going to discuss how sometimes when things get worse, it can actually be better for you. Why our lukewarm lives, if you will, actually hold us back. We're going to talk about what hard times actually teach us in relationships and what makes a great relationship. What makes a great partner? We talk about it a lot, kind of beating around the bush about it, but we're going to get into what that actually means in today's episode. We've got a website, www.twfo.com, where you can find out tons more about what we do. We've got a course there. We've got a community there. We've got merch. Actually, got a rock right here. These are recovery rocks. If you don't know what these things are, I want to get in here and just stretch a little bit. It's got our logo on the front and on the back. It says, "Thank you for being my rock." This is a really cool way to recognize the sacrifices and the perseverance that someone has been exhibiting when they're with you through addiction. If you are a couple that listens, that's a really cool way to acknowledge their life over the last God knows how many years or months if you're new. We've got new sweatshirts that are up there, which are going to be needed. We're about to get, I think they said anywhere between 8 and 12 inches of snow.
We'll see how real that is.
Which is weird for North Texas, but it's coming unless you're in the Southern Hemisphere. It is cold where you're at, and it's a great time to grab one. You can also sign up for our newsletter and blog there. Every Monday morning, a newsletter goes out. I will not spam your email with random crap. It's just an insightful newsletter of things I've learned, something I've written about. We can check out our free Facebook community there, which is for listeners. So if you're listening to this, come check it out. And
we're trying to make it more growth oriented this year.
Man, there was something else I missed, but it'll come back to me at some point. We've back to our course. Actually, we've got a course that we built with Dr. Christopher Taylor. We built a course with a licensed therapist to help you grow. If you've been a listener for a while and you want to know how we got to where we're at, well, we packaged that and we built a course called Independently Strong. Independently Strong will help you find clarity in your life, whether you stay or go in a relationship. Our goal is to empower spouses and partners of people with substance use disorder, who have sacrificed their needs trying to get someone else well. Many of the people who come to us say that they feel lost. They don't know who they are anymore. They don't know whether they should stay or go. Should I leave my relationship behind? Should I stick this out? So we don't offer a one-size-fits-all solution. Instead, we offer you a process called VEER. We will validate you. We will educate you. We will empower you, and we will help you recover whatever recovery means for you. And it offers hope for those that want to rebuild a relationship, and it reframes hope for those that have had a really tough time trying to figure out what leaving means. Is it meant for you? Yes, it's meant for you. Is it meant for me if I'm this age? Yes, it's meant for you. Is it meant for me if I'm in this situation? Yes, it's meant for you. It is helpful. It is extremely helpful no matter what. If you're a fan of the show, this is going to be helpful for you. It's an alternative to traditional programs like Al-Anon, things that are out there. So if you found that wasn't a fit for you, I bet we are. You can get 75% off of our course by going to independentlystrong.com and entering the code Wheelies75. Again, it's Wheelies with an S 75. I am losing it today.
We both are a little wonky today for some reason. I think it's because it's really damn cold outside.
I don't know what it is.
It's like 20 degrees.
New Year cognitive hangover, I guess.
Holiday hangover. We did an episode on that last year.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's a thing.
We've also got a sponsor for today's episode. Thank you to SoberLink. If you don't know what SoberLink is, it is think of it as the world's most high-tech breathalyzer. Breathalyzers can be really useful in a couple of scenarios. The first one is when someone is trying to prove sobriety. If you are with someone who's been a chronic relapser with alcohol, this is a great way to show sobriety when it really matters. There are other breathalyzers out there, but they are just frankly inferior to this one. Not just from a technology standpoint. They've got military-grade facial recognition technology on this thing so that you can trust that when someone is blowing in the device, it is them. It is, you can't get around this using some dummy techniques like having a friend blow or using a air compressor, or God knows what other techniques people have come up with to cheat breathalyzers. This one is the real deal. And you can set up sober contacts. So a group of people that get notified every time you blow, so they can see, hey, John or Matt or whoever, or Susie, they're doing the deal. They're sober today. If you've been someone who is not trustworthy because you've frankly had trouble staying sober, this is a really great way to reestablish trust. It's also really helpful in custody battles. If you are with someone and you cannot trust your children with them, I don't think I would go any other way.
This is a must. Yep.
I wouldn't go
Must
any
have.
other way. It is court admissible in all 50 states and in Canada, and it is trusted by over 200,000 clients. It is considered the gold standard in court admissions. It's an incredible company. They've got round-the-clock, 24-hour observation on the data that comes in so that you can trust the results that are coming back. They know the difference between someone wearing cologne and someone who's been drinking, or all the other excuses. I was eating pineapple, or
I had NyQuil.
Yeah, all kinds of things that people will say, well, NyQuil actually does have a little alcohol in it. But some people will say, like, I ate a bunch of gum or fruit or all kinds of stuff. By the way, there is non-alcoholic NyQuil, which you should be drinking if you've had trouble. But anyway, they know the difference, and there are people who monitor the stuff. It's not just a computer system that spits out results, because they're interested in providing good data. That's what they're most interested in. They're not trying to pick one side or the other. They are interested in providing you data. They have been kind enough to give our listeners $50 off a device. Go to soberlink.com/wheels to learn more. Again, it's soberlink.com/wheels. And thank you to SoberLink.
Thank you.
All right, let's get this thing started.
Yes.
Bear with us, because it's, I don't know what if it's just the weather. It might really actually just be holiday hangover. I'm not exactly sure, but I've been really, really out of it. I think last week with the holiday and then coming back this week, you kind of work sporadically, especially when the holidays are in the middle of the week, and you might be feeling a little just weird.
We haven't even gotten into our routine, back to our routine yet, because our kids are still out of school. So it's been kind of crazy. And they may even get out again at the end of this week if we get the snow that they're saying that we get. So,
yeah, we don't have plows down here.
So we're just kind of off.
Like
We're just a little off. So bear with us. If you're in it with us, welcome.
So we're going to start the episode with a quote. Chris Bumstead was on podcast probably around November, December. He was on Modern Wisdom with Chris Williamson. If you don't know who he is like seven-time Mr. Olympia champion. And you think Mr. Olympia, if you don't know what that is, that's a bodybuilding champion. This guy's a bodybuilder. But it's not what you think. He's an enigma in that sense, that he is not a stereotypical muscle guy.
Right.
It's very deep and insightful and very
humble,
incredibly humble and open and vulnerable. And he was talking about relationships, about his own marriage. And he said, find someone you feel safe being a burden to.
Ooh.
And I just absolutely loved that. I loved that quote. I loved that frame, because I think there's so much to that.
Well, let's be real. There's going to be times in our lives that we're a burden to somebody.
Absolutely.
We're not going to be perfect. There's going to be seasons of being an asshole. Like, that's just being human.
Yeah.
But it's how you handle those situations and how you handle those times. And if you feel safe being a burden to your partner. Like, I thought that quote was so powerful. I think it's an amazing way to open up this episode.
Yeah. I think about a lot, like what makes a good partner versus a bad partner. And we can come up with a lot of adjectives, like someone who's vulnerable or open or honest, or they communicate well. There's a million different adjectives that can describe someone. But I think that this really sums it up in a maxim. It's find someone that you feel safe being a burden to. And that is also a two-way street. That's a two-way street.
100%.
I can be a burden to you. You can be a burden to me. And I think it also implies that you're not a burden all the time. Yeah.
That's a big thing that needs to be touched on.
Yeah, because we talk about addiction a lot here. We talk about a lot of other things too, like mental health problems and depression and a lot of things that people can go through. And there are seasons in life that are more difficult than others. And I was asking Paige before the episode started, we were just kind of talking through this and here in the studio. And it's like, how long is too long to be a burden to someone? And I thought about it and I was like, well, I was a burden in like all of 21. I was going through depression and it was really, really difficult. And you pointed out, well, you're still kind of going through that. Yeah. So I guess in some degree, I'm still a burden, but just less of one.
I think it depends on the situation that you are a burden to. Like, is it something that is really impacting me in our relationship? Or is it something that's really like, is it significant enough, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
And it's hard to measure what's significant and what's not. I mean, there's not really a time frame, like you said. It's kind of a time frame between both of us and how we both manage it. Like, I'm there to support you, but I also have boundaries surrounding it so that you don't become a burden to me anymore based on that situation.
Let's just theorize for a moment. Let's say that someone's gone through death of a parent or death of a close friend, a loved one, just a death of a loved one. Grieving can take a while.
Yeah.
It can take quite a while. And in the early days of grieving, you're really not going to be useful to somebody else in that sense. You're not going to be able to be there for them. You are going to be, let's call it the burden, even though I don't love that term if you're grieving, but still, you will be technically a burden. You'll be a burden in that relationship. And I think safety, real safety in relationships, when you feel safe enough to be that burden, when you feel safe to know that you've got enough good credit built up, if you will, to know that you can be a burden for a while, and that's okay.
That you can be at your lowest of lows. But the time frame depends on the other person's tolerance for it.
Yeah, it really does.
You know what I mean?
And that's why I think that some of that comes from like this invisible category of like credit that we build over the course of a relationship.
Yeah.
And some people just have a really high pain tolerance, but I think that credit goes a long way. Like, you have to have a past history of seeing someone get through some difficult times. And you almost have to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel at some point. You don't have to exactly know when, but there has to be an end to this.
You have to trust that they're going to be able to pull themselves out of it at some point.
Yeah. Like, I was thinking, so in 2021, I went through like this, I don't know what like an existential crisis, I guess. I think 36. We turned 36 that year, I think, right?
I don't know, but it was end of 2020 when it started.
I guess called a midlife crisis of sorts, but kind of looked at my life all of a sudden and realized that I wasn't doing what I felt like I should have been doing with my life. And like, you realize that age kind of sneaks up on you before you know it. You're not a kid anymore. You're not young anymore. And all these things that you said you were going to do, like, you feel the immediacy of all of that. And so mine was mostly professional. It was about my career. And I had this crisis of, oh my God, I know at this moment that I cannot go the rest of my life doing what I'm doing. Like, I think at some point I would have considered taking my own life if I would have stayed in it.
Right.
It was intolerable. I just could not do it. And with that came a lot of like grieving and processing, and then a lot of fear, wondering what comes next. What are we going to do? How can I find purpose? How can I mix my purpose with some sort of a profession that's going to provide for the family and keep the lights on and everything else? And it was a lot. And for an entire year, I processed through that, and I was what I would say probably a burden to you in a lot of ways, because things were often about me and what I was going through.
Yeah. And
I remember, so it started in February of that year, because we were on that was our anniversary, wasn't it? We went on our 20-year anniversary.
Yes.
We went glamping, and it was like 20 degrees out. It was really cold. I remember that. But I remember like on the way home, I listened to The Alchemist and like lost my mind, because it was all just the timing was perfect. The universe's timing was perfect, that I stumbled upon that book at the same time I was going through this. But I remember probably like that October. So this is 9 months later, talking to you like every night about this. And you basically talked me off a cliff every single night. But I remember at some point saying to you, it just occurred to me that I haven't considered for a moment really about what you're going through, and what are you into right now, and what's your life been like, and what's your inner world like. For 9 months, I hadn't really considered it. I remember when I said it, it became real to you too, and you were pretty hurt by it. Yeah. It was difficult to get through, but I had been an absolute burden to you up to that point. And I think at that point, I kind of like snapped out of it and was like, oh my God, that relationships are also about reciprocity. You know, you have to reciprocate. Yep. And you have to allow you to be a burden too. Like, good Lord, what's going on in your life? Yeah. You know, but what about you? A time that you've been a burden to me?
Whenever I went through my like daily panic attacks, and when I hit my rock bottom.
When I was like 5 years
clean.
You
were about 4 or 5 years clean. It was in 2017, 4 years clean. You were 4 years into sobriety and recovery. And something happened in that April, I believe it was, that just kind of made me spiral out of control. It had nothing to do with us. It had nothing to do with anything close to me. It was just something that happened within my circle, but not really, but I took it really to heart. And, but come to find out, it was just being overwhelmed by not feeling the feels of what we dealt with in your active addiction and things like that. And just being a new mom and all the things, just something happened and it just clicked to where I was like super anxious. I had major panic issues. I had the weird ear thing. I had these things
numbness and tingling in your
I
hands.
had numbness and tingling in my face. I went to the doctor multiple times, thinking that something was wrong with me, and I was a burden, and you let me know that for sure. Because it was only 5 months of that, I believe I took. It was 5 months that I was in that until I decided to make a change. But that's when I felt like a burden to you, because I was not focusing on anything else but like, what is wrong with me? I need help.
Let me ask you this and answer honestly, because this was still early on in our the new version 2 of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel safe being a burden with me?
No.
Not at that time?
No, not necessarily. No, because you've always been the one to suck it up. Don't be so sensitive. Nothing is wrong with you. Everything's okay. Deal with it. Get over it.
Nothing was wrong with you.
Nothing was wrong with me. You're right.
Tumor.
You're right. But I didn't have,
Joking.
I felt like I didn't have, like you did step up when it came to the kids. Like I thought that was great. Like you were available to them when I couldn't be, because I was not being the best mom at all. I wasn't being the best wife. I wasn't being the best person at all. But like if I needed you to come do something with the kids or deal with them, you would be there. But when it came to like actually talking with me or dealing with me, like you weren't very, I mean, you were supportive, but weren't very supportive, I guess. I just didn't feel completely safe because we didn't go through a lot of the things. We hadn't dealt with a lot of our relationship issues and marriage issues at that point anyway.
Put the Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, we put a Band-Aid on it. It's like, oh, he's sober. Everything's great. Let's move on. And we all know how that works. It doesn't work that way. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done within both people. But no, I didn't feel completely safe with you, even though you did step up and you did, take me to the doctor and you did try to make sure that everything was going great. It was really, really rocky. I just felt very, very alone during that time.
What about now? Do you feel safe being a burden?
I do. I feel safer being able to express that something is going on. I mean, it just depends. I think that this is where our relationship clashes sometimes, because like if I'm having a rough time with whatever's going on, you're still like, I'm going to challenge you. I'm still going to challenge you. I'm still going to push you. And I do feel like, okay, are you hearing me or are you not? So we're still kind of navigating that.
Yeah. Sometimes we're just go through periods in life where we're going to suck. Like we're just not going to be easy to be around.
Yeah.
And I think that real safety in the relationships, when you can find somebody and have someone that you can confide in and just know that it's okay to suck for a little while. And you can be a burden for a little while, but it's understood and you've got enough of a track record that they know that you're going to fight for yourself and for the relationship itself.
That's just trust.
Yeah.
And it's just trust. And if there's no trust, then you can't really trust the other person to, deal with the lows, to allow you to be a burden. It's going to be really difficult.
Yeah. And it's also like, there's some boundaries around that too. It's like knowing what to do for them. Like, how much do you enable what they're going through, to try to make it easy, and then when to step back and sort of let them experience natural consequences from inaction.
I feel like I do a decent job of that with you. Like I've learned how to detach from certain things to allow you to process things on your own to where it's too much. Like I've given you solutions. I've provided challenges. I've said, this is what you can do. I'm going to support you in whatever you do, but you keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I have to step back and allow you to make those decisions on your own at this point, like you naturally detach from that situation. You can be there to support, but also I'm not going to take this on anymore.
Yeah. And careful with that, because then it becomes like a one-sided relationship where if someone's always a burden, that's not a recipe for long-term success at all.
No, it's not.
And we've heard from a lot of listeners that are kind of in that place.
Right.
Where someone has never really, they just can't get right.
Right. No, it's the same thing over and over again. You're not seeing any growth at any point.
And then you develop resentment.
Resentment because it's one-sided.
Which you had at some point in our relationship, I know for a fact, because it was always you supporting me, and it was never, because I was always the one going through something, I was constantly a mess. Yeah. And there's a lot of resentment that builds up because you don't have stuff going on too. You just didn't feel safe being a burden to me.
Right.
And it kind of displayed itself, like you said. Like I got roughly 9 months before you kind of put your foot down and you were like, all right, enough's enough. Shut up about it or do something.
Right. Yeah.
And you challenged me, and we have. That's actually why the show started. It was after that conversation.
Yeah. I'm like, you either deal with it, like quit complaining about it. I saw something recently about like either do something about it or quit complaining about it, you know? And at that point, that's when I detach and I'm like, okay, this is on you. Like I'm done with, I'll support you, but I'm still done with like coddling you.
Yeah.
I'm done with babying you. I'm done with like, oh, you poor thing. Oh, I feel sorry for you. You know, that can only go so far. That's being supportive, but also like, you know what? There's a middle ground. When am I going to stop doing that and allow you to make the decisions that you need to make? And then I have to detach from the outcome.
Sort of on a tangent here, but it reminded, like what you just said, the kind of that ultimatum that you give people.
Yeah.
It's like, do something or I can't do this anymore. Choose one.
Shit or get off the pot.
I was talking to a friend who, him and his wife have been together for a while and they've gotten through addiction. He's been sober for quite some time now, but from the things that happen in addiction, he's done everything that a person can do in order to make that right. And she was still really, really angry about it and very resentful. And they went to counseling and he's tried to do everything he can to make the future brighter than the past ever was. Dark. Future brighter than the past ever was dark.
Right.
And there's only so much you can do. At some point they were in a session and the therapist just like, they kind of went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he's like, time out. At this point, you either forgive him or divorce him.
Yeah.
Those are your options at this point.
That's your part towards like, if they're showing you over and over again that they are willing to make changes and do the things that they need to do, it's up to you to accept it or not.
And you don't have to.
Then you don't have to. If you can't get past it, if you can't forgive, even though they're showing up and doing all the things, that's okay. That's okay too. Then you can just say, okay, then I'm getting off of this. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to complain anymore and I'm not going to deal with it anymore. I don't have to. I can move on.
But you can't eat your cake and have it too.
No.
You can't say, I want to be angry still about this, but I want to move forward in the future. Those two, they're not congruent. It's not congruent to any sort of a happy relationship.
Yeah.
At some point, you either forgive or just get divorced.
Right.
I loved the way that the therapist put it. I thought that was great.
Yeah, it's solid.
Okay, so that's being safe, being a burden. That was a really amazing insight, I think, from that episode. And check that podcast out. Check that episode out if you haven't already. I actually skipped ahead. Something I wanted to discuss was a tweet from, I'm going to butcher his name. I've always just heard him called Visa. Visakon Virasamy. I'm pretty sure it's how you say his name.
Okay.
There's a tweet from, when was this? This was October of 22. He said, a little oversimplistic to reduce it to this, but I'd say this explains a lot of the quote unquote divorce mystery. The divorce mystery is, why do so many people divorce someone they thought was their favorite person? Because good times are a poor predictor of how you'll handle bad times. And we have been sitting here waxing back and forth on that for the last, I don't know, a week or so.
A couple of weeks, because you showed me a video from Chris Williamson that was discussing this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to talk about this.
And I went back and started reading about it and read a bunch of stuff on it. And I wrote about it. And I'm like, this is really interesting though. But it is true, is we fall in love with people because we have similarities, because there's something in common.
The good times.
The good times, right? And that's how we fall in love.
We have fun.
And so we get married based on that.
Yes.
Which is the worst decision that you could ever make if you're thinking about what a marriage really is. If you believe in the like Western sense and religious sense, it means forever, no matter what. Mm-hmm. If you believe in it, that I just want to be happy with this person that I've chosen and we're going to make it official with, legally official, it means that you've made a commitment to each other. They're going to show up every day. But it's the worst decision in the world to base your relationship and the future of it off the fact that you have things in common.
Yeah.
Or
that you have really good times together, or you just enjoy each other all the time, or you're this is my soulmate because we have so much fun and we're so happy all the time.
Good times.
It's very fairy tale-y.
Do not test us.
Nope.
And they are a very poor indicator of how someone handles bad times. I think that you don't really know someone until you've been through something tough, really tough with them.
Yeah.
And this is why we've always said that couples that do get through this, that get through addiction or something, or betrayal, give me those couples over any couple in the world who have just stuff in common.
Yeah.
Because when you have something like that happen, you really figure out, like, everything's on full display. Your real character, your actual values, how nasty you can get and how personal you can get, how cruel you can be. Mm-hmm. And it's about your ability to work through that stuff that really determines if you're a couple that's worth your salt or not.
And it determines if your partner is actually within your values. Like if they're actually,
which is what you should be basing future on.
Right. It's like, what do we share values? Like if they're very, very ugly to you in a way that is very uncomfortable, which let's be real, we've been ugly to each other. Like that's normal. That's common. But if it's like a constant thing and you really feel off about it, then that's something you need to question. Like, can I really tolerate this? Is this something that's going to get better? Is this something that we can work through? I don't know. Well, let's figure this out and see what happens.
Yeah. Back to like good times don't test us. And good times just reveal surface level compatibility.
That's what I was going to say.
That's all it is.
Okay. So you know how people will say, keep dating your spouse, keep dating your partner, always date them. That is so, I think there's a time and place for that. I think it's great, whatever. But I always questioned it because I was like, it seems very surface level, because to me, just dating your partner is not going to get to the root of things that are going to happen within your relationship. It's so surface level. Like it's the highs, it's the good times. And I know it means like you're just prioritizing your marriage or whatnot. But to me, like our best times are almost our worst times, like before bed, when we have these conversations that are in depth about how are we going to solve this problem? How do we figure this out? It's not the going on dates every week. Like it's nice. It's good, but it's not like the thing that's going to make our marriage last.
Yeah. I think there is some merit, no doubt, to breaking out of your routine and getting like reconnecting with your spouse or your partner, whoever, and like getting a dinner date. It is nice to get out without kids every so often and do something like that. But I think this is just my opinion, is I think in today's like Instagrammy experience driven culture, look at me. I think that there are a non-insignificant number of people that are out there just putting Band-Aids on what is otherwise a bad relationship, trying to rekindle what it was like in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a time you can't go back to, because likely what my guess is they've been through something really tough and they've never really dealt with it. And so they try to Band-Aid it with all these like surface level experiences.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. Makes complete sense.
Yeah, because stuff like that, it doesn't test your
resiliency,
core qualities like resiliency, like your emotional regulation, conflict resolution skills. It's like saying that calm waters don't make a skilled sailor.
Yeah.
Like anyone can figure out how to sail when the weather's wonderful and it's sunny out and the wind is just perfect and breezy and nice. But when it's rocky out there, that's when you really learn how to figure stuff out.
That's when you're being
shit
tested.
hits the fan.
Yeah.
That's what I think really determines whether a relationship will make it. And so I think for couples that are listening to this, or couples who are really like adamant on getting through this, and we've heard from a lot more out recently.
A lot of more couples.
I'd love to hear that there are actually couples trying to do this thing.
Yes, we have heard from a lot of couples lately.
But there is something to be said about getting through stuff like this. There is. But it takes two people.
Right. It's two people. It's not just one person. But the lows are what's really important within any type of situation. It's not necessarily just a relationship. Like, let's think about whenever you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to get healthier or whatnot. The hard part, the highs are great because you're like, ooh, I'm feeling good. Things are awesome. But then there are days where you're like tempted by a cookie or something. And it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to take that cookie? That's easy. But the hard part is going to be not eating it, you know? And you're just like, that's kind of, I know that's kind of basic, but it's still, that's a low that you're going to have to go through. And it's testing what the tools that you've learned and if you can actually get through it. Yes.
I think Winston Churchill said, success is going from failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. Something too. That's about resilience and perseverance. Mm-hmm. When you're going through stuff like that, that's when you're going to learn how to communicate under stress.
Yeah.
You know, how those dynamics present themselves and the emotional maturity that someone has or doesn't have.
Right.
And if you can self-regulate that as well. And then your own capacity or your partner's capacity to support and adapt. Mm-hmm. All that stuff comes out whenever you go through some tough shit. So hard times provide the real framework, I think, for true growth and real partnership.
Yeah.
So in some sense, there's a beautiful opportunity if you find yourself in a situation where your life's been wrecked by a substance of some kind or by betrayal.
Well, and that's what we try to help our listeners do
anyway,
is that how, you know, you can shift your perspective on any of the situations that you're going through. These are challenges. Embrace them. How are you going to handle them instead of being like, oh no, this is happening to me. I can't do this. This sucks, blah, blah, blah. You know, what are you going to do? It's a challenge. It's not like an obstacle. It's a challenge.
Absolutely. Everything's It's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
If you look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to fuck up too. I want people to understand that too, that during your lows, people are going to fuck up. You're going to see things that you may not like. But like I said, you have to ask yourself if y'all are willing to work together to change those behaviors, so that you were working together as a marriage instead of just individually and doing things just for yourself.
And this will carry us to our next point, which we'll get into just a bit, which is some people can get really comfortable just living in sort of this denial of reality that the relationship cannot withstand bad times, but you refuse to split anyway. And we'll get into the region beta paradox here in a moment, but it's very similar to that.
Yeah.
But it's not how we thrive in joy. But how we survive in pain that really determines long-term success. That is true in just damn near everything in life.
Everything.
Because
there's always going to be lows. Shit is always going to hit the fan at some point. It's never going to be perfect.
I think in general, like it's the hard stuff really that
shapes you.
It shapes you. That's where you learn the most. That's where you have the most growth at. Look at any point in your life. It was usually preceded by something really, really tough and difficult. Your relationship is no different than that, getting through stuff like that. But I would hate for people to take this. The people that need to hear this are generally the people that aren't going to hear it. And the people that don't need to hear this message are the ones who will take it to heart, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there is a limit to all of this. Believe me,
Yes,
like there's a limit
is.
to this. It doesn't mean just keep going, even though when you know it's busted or it's totaled. Like, doesn't mean that. It does not mean that. I don't want people thinking that you can always come back from a really dark place, because you can't. Sometimes it's just not worth the trouble. It's not. Sometimes some values have been crossed or broken that are just non-negotiables, and good for you. Like I had someone message me earlier today and they're like, what would you say to someone who left a relationship after years and years of, verbal abuse and betrayal and cheating and everything else? And I just feel horrible and I don't know what to do. And it's been 4 months and I'm miserable. And I was like, I would say that congratulations. And I'm really proud of you. I think it's a beautiful thing that you know what you stand for and what you don't. And
exactly.
it will get better.
Yeah.
It will get better. I promise you it will get better.
Yeah.
And you will be better for it, having persevered through it.
Yeah. And standing up for yourself. That's great.
As opposed to just staying in that
that situation where there's no growth or change. It's only one. If there's active addiction, typically it's just a one-sided relationship anyway. Like they're not growing or changing or shifting, but you're doing the work. But you need to recognize that a relationship takes two people to change and grow together.
I'm trying to think I don't know. You ever hear couples that say they don't fight?
Yep.
That's weird to me.
Yeah.
I just don't know how that's really possible.
I'm pretty sure I've said that before.
We don't fight? What are you talking about?
I know
Why
we do fight. I know. And I'm trying to think of what context I was saying it in, but maybe it was just during a really good high point in our relationship. I don't know. Or maybe it's because our fights are really productive in a way.
Productable?
Yes, they're productable.
Throwback.
That word will never go away.
No.
But I think it's because we have conversations. We have in-depth conversations. We listen to each other, we validate. So it's not necessarily like fights, I guess. But fighting is healthy. I mean, disagreements is healthy. I mean, as long as you're doing it in a productive way.
Yeah. Do you think that there are too many couples that quit too soon?
No.
Really?
I don't think so. Now, I know like with younger generations, a lot of people think, older generations think that younger generations quit too soon, but I don't know too much about that and those dynamics because I don't know what type of problems they're dealing with. I can only look at social media and kind of base my opinion on that. But with the people
it's more based on your algorithm too, which could just be.
It is. And it could just be, random shit that I don't really know what the reality is of that. But, like within our area, I think that people actually go too long. I don't think they give up too soon. No. If that's what you're asking.
So I feel the same way.
Okay.
I was talking to Dr. Taylor about this actually. I'm like, I think people just, they ride a tired horse way too long until it finally gives out. And he was like, no, quite the opposite. I think it's just it's the bias that we have based on what we do and what we see. And how the algorithm feeds you information based on what you look at.
Well, in our area of what we work in,
with
addiction, I think that people stick too long with that.
He's a therapist and deals with less of this and more just like normal problems.
Yeah.
And what he basically told me was absolutely not. That is not the case. People give up way too quick over some of the simplest issues. You wouldn't believe it. Like marriages are failing all the time because people aren't willing to stick through some of the most common
like
disagreements.
What? Do you have any examples of what the common disagreement, or is it just maybe it's much deeper than people can actually articulate and how they can express themselves and say, no, it's really deeper than this, even though it sounds like it's this one thing that was minor.
Well, we didn't get into like a lot of the reasons, but we talked about maybe the mechanism there that gets people here. And what we kind of both talked about was, I think a lot of people get married too soon. I think a lot of people, especially as you get older, like you kind of know what you want in life more. And believe me, I haven't dated older, but I can imagine if I did, it'd be easier than when you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
But young people get married and let's say that they've only been together for a year.
Yeah.
And
you don't really know.
And they
a person
haven't really
in a
lived
year.
together for maybe more than 6 months or so. You don't really know each other yet.
Yeah.
And so they're making decisions based on the good times.
The good times.
Before you really found out what it's like to get in the trenches with somebody.
Right.
And you're just not prepared or equipped to handle difficult situations.
Okay.
But if you were to really just clean the slate and come to the table ready to work, he says that a lot more marriages could be salvaged.
Okay.
Because people are quitting over some of the really most trivial shit. Like he hangs out with his friends too much, plays golf too often or something like that.
Okay.
And they can't have a civil disagreement about it. There's no compromise on either side. And so people get divorced over stuff like that all the time.
But I don't think it's divorcing over that. I think it's the fact that they're not hearing each other. There's no validation.
Well, that's
There's
always what it is. That's like
it's
the
much deeper. It's more
catalyst.
like, okay, I want an equal partner. I want somebody who is going to be there for me. If they're going out and playing golf every weekend, yeah, that's a problem. I'm sorry, but if a partner thinks that that's a problem and they're not hearing them, then yeah. But then again, I think about what we've gone through and things like with recovery, and you were putting me on the back burner for a long time, even in recovery. I could have easily given up on that and said, he doesn't care about me that much because he's having to put recovery first before me, or, I want an equal partner. But I didn't give up on that. I fought for our relationship because I trusted you to figure it out at some point that we would have a balanced relationship.
Yeah, and that was selfish to some degree, but it was selfish for, I think, good reasons. I think that something underlying a lot of this is like me culture, me first culture, putting myself first culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw this guy, I think it was on TikTok, and he was like, I saw this New Year's resolution from this girl I've known for a while. And number one on her list was, I need to put me first this year. And he was like, no, you don't. I've known you for the last 10 years. You are the most selfish person that I've ever met in my entire life.
Damn.
But that's how like social media culture has kind of been driven now. It's all about me, and what I need, what the individual needs.
Okay.
I think you can look back over the last 20 years and see that's becoming, even like our culture, United States especially, is becoming more and more individualistic about what I need.
Yeah.
And we're less concerned about what's best for the whole.
As a whole.
Or the family or the marriage or anything else.
And that's what's
And
important.
so I think that therapists everywhere are combating that as well. Like just selfish mindset. It kind of permeates everything that we do, Like I got to put me first this year. Like some people do. Maybe some people don't. Maybe some people don't. Maybe you need to grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to understand that it's not always about you.
Well, I think a marriage is about compromise. Relationships is about compromising.
And again, the people that need to hear this aren't going to hear it. And the people that don't need to hear it are going to take it straight to heart. Please. Think deeply before you take this advice and run with it. You're probably already a person that puts others first, unless you're like me and you don't, and then you need to. But there's a lot of people who will hear this and be like, oh, I need to continue to sacrifice. No, probably not. You probably actually do need to put you first.
Yeah, exactly. Like but then you find the middle ground, just like you did, even in your recovery. Like you put you first forever and ever, and then you ended up being like,
kind of had to.
Yeah, but then you ended up finding the middle ground and the balance. So like I said, I could have easily given up on that because of what we were going through, but I didn't, because I was able to recognize that you were making significant changes in other areas of your life. It's like, it's not going to be perfect. I had to be grateful for the things that I did get.
Yeah.
And a lot of people miss that because they think it needs to be a certain way. It's supposed to be like this, like things need to be perfect. We need to be on the same page all the time. And that's not how marriage works at all.
No. For all the talk about, I'm speaking just in general terms now, for all the talk about people who have gone through like trauma, as they put it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like younger generations they don't know what that word means.
Yes.
And they're just,
this is going to be a totally different episode.
It
so where you're going with this?
Where they are labeling normal human experiences as trauma.
Or it's labeled as this is a trauma response. Like I'm responding this way because I had trauma. I'm this way because I had trauma. And y'all know how we feel about that. It's like just because you had that traumatic experience doesn't mean that you still get to act like an asshole. You need to own your trauma. We actually did an episode very early on called Own Your Trauma. I don't know if it was too soon for when we started this podcast for some listeners, but I thought it was
perfect
great.
Timing.
But I see a lot that it's not everything is a trauma response. Like I see these things on overstimulation is a trauma response, or there was one that was specific that I just kind of like killed me. Oh, hyper independency was a trauma response. And it's like y'all are labeling all of these things, which there could be truth to this. I understand that, but I feel like it goes too far to where it's like everything is traumatizing now, and you're missing the point. Like you're going to be in that thought pattern forever if you just own your fucking trauma and like deal with it. Do something about it.
Generally, people who have really been through some heavy shit don't want to be labeled as a trauma survivor or anything else. They want to move on. They don't want to go back to that place.
That's why people in these situations, most of the time, majority of the time that I see, they don't want to be labeled the victim. Yeah. They don't feel like they had been the victim, because people who have actually been victimized don't want to talk about being victimized.
And they always want to look at what they did in order to cause it or their part in it.
Yes, I did this forever until I had to spell it out that, a lot of us have had trauma in these relationships. You know, and I didn't want to own that. I didn't want that. I didn't want to say that, oh, my husband caused me trauma. You know, that was a really difficult thing for me to go through. Yeah. But once I recognized that, it was like, okay, now I feel like I can help others through these situations based on that. And then, you know, own it and deal with it and get through it, and you'll be stronger for it.
Yeah, I saw this thing on Twitter from, or what's it called? X now? Yeah, X. When are we still going to call them tweets and stuff?
I don't know. We're old.
there's several writers that I follow on there, but one of them is Gurwinder Bogal. And this sums up social media in the last couple of years perfectly. If someone you like did something bad, it's because they have trauma. If someone you dislike did something bad, it's because they're a narcissist. If someone disagrees with this, they're gaslighting. What do you have to say about that?
That annoys the shit out of me. I don't think the majority of our listeners fall into this bucket.
I don't think so either.
I think the majority of our listeners are the ones who actually have gone through some shit.
Yes, they have.
These are from people who haven't gone through shit, and they just want to label everything and make an excuse for everything.
With Dr. Taylor, we talked about how everything needs a pathology now.
Yeah,
pathologizing everything.
Right.
Every normal human experience now has to have a name.
Stop. Just stop.
But the first two kind of hit, because if someone you like did something bad, it's because they have trauma. And I think this is... I do see a lot of our listeners
we do see this.
Fall into this, where their loved one has done some horrible shit.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes just because it could be as simple as like, they're just an asshole. That's just not going to say a bad person, but they just have really bad ideas about how to treat other people.
They're immature. They're still childlike. They still have a lot of growing up to do. There's a lot of shit that they need to deal with. But to say that they had trauma, like we've seen TikTok comments all the time about addiction and how, it's because they've been traumatized and that's the way that they are and blah, blah, blah. Matt, I want you to speak on this, because you've told me this multiple times before, how sometimes people who use just fucking use to use. They just want to get high. It's not necessarily that they've been traumatized as a kid or abused or whatnot. Like we've thrown this out there so much. And I think it was to gain more empathy, you know, or to have people have more empathy, to destigmatize, which I understand, but it went too far. It went too far to where it's like, no, this person is just being an asshole, and it's up to you to figure out if you want to tolerate it or not. Goes where it's behaviors over substances again.
Yeah. So she's referring to a good friend of mine. I'm actually going to see him here in a few hours. he'll be the first to tell you. He said, I was raised in a warm and loving household. I had two parents that were home, like in the home, married, good marriage. Siblings were very successful, went to school, everyone went to college. He was like, forget the way he puts it. He's like, they say the apple doesn't fall from the tree. Well, with me, it hit the ground and it rolled like a quarter mile away. Mm-hmm. He goes, I love an altered state of mind. Like personally, I just love being messed up.
Yeah.
I love to get high.
Right.
He's like, it's not more complicated than that. I'm not running from childhood trauma. And I've even had therapists say, well, no, there's something else going on there. I'm like, I don't know. I believe the guy. And because I think there's some degree of this with me too, where I just liked an altered state because it made life easier to deal with. Mm-hmm. And how much of that came from a traumatic childhood or not being taught tools or whatever else, or how much just came from I love the way that a drug designed to make you feel good feels.
Yeah.
And then it becomes this selfish seeking of that drug despite consequences and hurting other people and everything else. But it's like, it just wasn't anymore. I just I love getting high.
Yeah.
I just love to get high. It's no more complicated than that.
Well, it's similar to with spouses, right? They always throw out the codependency thing with spouses and saying, oh, you had a really bad childhood or you had childhood wounds. And that's why you're with somebody who is an addict and who's messed up or, who treats you like shit. Yes, this applies sometimes, but it doesn't apply all the time. There's no such thing as absolutes, really. No, there's not. But I feel like a lot of times it's thrown out there a lot. You need to, heal your inner child, or you need to figure out what's going on with your childhood and why you tolerate this behavior. And I get that. I understand that. But I had a decent childhood. I did have some things happen, but it wasn't abnormal for that time period, time. It wasn't like it was anything that was traumatic, I guess. It wasn't super crazy to where I would be a codependent person to deal with somebody who's an addict. So it didn't line up with us that way. I always had values that I was pretty strong on. And I was like, you're treating me like shit. I don't care if you're an addict or not. So what are we going to do about it? I'm not going to tolerate that.
Yeah.
But it was difficult when I was in it because it's a fucking roller coaster ride or whatnot. But it's just, I don't know, this whole thing that you pulled up on this. It goes both ways, in my opinion.
Yeah, like Freudian psychology more or less says that everything goes back to your childhood and developmental years.
Yes.
And we do know that a lot of your adult behaviors have to do with those informative years. Mm-hmm. I just think that it was funny like this, and I'll read it one more time. If someone you liked did something bad, it's because they have trauma. If someone you disliked did something bad, it's because they're a narcissist. And if someone disagrees with this, they're gaslighting. I think he's kind of poking fun at the fact that our inherent biases towards someone or something dictate the label that they get. And so even though if let's say you have a spouse or a partner who's been treating you poorly, really bad, they've been cheating on you, they have been lying to you, physically abusing you, they have sexually assaulted you, they've done all kinds of this stuff. Instead of just calling them what it is, this is an asshole of a person who probably is not fit to be a partner. Instead, they have trauma, and so you're going to go fix them or excuse it, and it doesn't make any sense. And then on the flip side, anytime someone you dislike does something bad, they're a narcissist, which is hilarious. There was a wheelie who posted in the community recently, and it was, I think, an ex or somebody had sent them something that was about female narcissists and what they do.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And it was so funny because of course that content exists, right?
Oh yeah.
When you have screwed up and done something terrible to someone, there's always a flip side of content that exists out there to validate those people.
Yeah.
There's a balloon artist that I love, Blacksmith on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And he has this this artwork, and it says, somewhere right now, there's a therapist telling the worst person that they're enough.
You always love that one. That one is so funny.
I think about that all the time. There's some just horrible human, and there's a therapist or there's content out there made for them that's just reinforcing all their shit ideas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It cracks me up. It just cracks me up to no end. That one always laughs. It makes me laugh. I send it to Chris every chance I get.
Yeah. But basically it doesn't matter why somebody's doing the things that they do. It doesn't excuse the behavior, even if they've had trauma or not. And same with us. It doesn't, what can we do about it?
Yeah. Okay. The last thing I'd like to discuss is the region beta paradox. Do you need to use the restroom first?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay, before we start shaking and moving and everything else.
Give me 10 minutes and that'll start happening.
Okay, the region beta paradox is the worst name for this thing.
I'm
that we're
so
about
glad
to
you
discuss,
brought that
ever.
up because I can never remember the name of this. Anytime you bring up some of these words or these
Concepts. And stuff.
I'm like, can we name it something simple so that it doesn't like go over my head? Like I'm queen of simplifying shit, right? Like I can put things into like very simple terms, I guess, and dumb it down a little bit. And this shit just kind of like goes over my head. And so what should it be called?
We're gonna find a better name for it by the time we get to the end of this. Okay.
Okay.
So the region beta paradox is a phenomenon that people can sometimes recover more quickly from distressing experiences than from less distressing ones. And the hypothesized reason is that intense states trigger psychological defense processes that reduce the distress, while less intense states do not trigger the same psychological defense processes. What that means is if you are in a relationship that is not ideal, like someone is kind of a pain in the ass, but they're not really abusive, but you're not really happy, but it's not terrible either.
Yeah.
You would actually be in a better situation if things were worse, because that would give you the activation energy, as Chris Williamson put it, to move out of that situation and get yourself into a more ideal situation. Think about a job. Let's say you have a job where it doesn't pay that great, but it's maybe in a decent location and there's really no upward mobility, but it's like, it's safe and you make just enough to get by, but you're just kind of lukewarm, miserable, but not miserable enough to do something different. It would actually be better for you if you got fired. It'd be better for you if you got demoted, because that would give you this stress response, this response to say, I got to get the hell out of here. Because otherwise what we do is we stay in these situations indefinitely. We develop a pain tolerance for these types of situations. So the paradox first came about, they studied walking versus driving a car or riding a bike. And within 1 mile distances, people preferred to walk. But driving a car would get you there twice as fast, paradoxically.
Yeah.
But we don't drive the car because it's more of a hassle.
More mental load that goes into it.
Right.
Because you have to think about getting in the car, starting the car, getting the directions to where you're going, parking, blah, blah, blah. But it actually is quicker than it is to actually walk.
Yeah.
But I walk because it feels better, just so you know.
Yeah. So you take it on knowingly. Interesting though, because paradoxically you'd get there much faster. It's like, what's the end goal is what you really have to look at. What are you trying to optimize for? What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So intense situations force action, while tolerable discomfort often leads to prolonged stagnation. Stagnation. You will stay there forever. Like if you discover, let's say that you're in a not so great relationship and you discover that your spouse has been cheating on you. I would argue that that is a good thing, because you weren't happy to begin with. You would have never left had you not discovered this information. And while this is bad and painful and difficult, it actually drives something beautiful in the end, which is that you will move on and find something better, whether by yourself or with someone else.
But within our situations, I'm just going to kind of challenge this for a section. For a second. Thank you. So there are people who I've seen before. It's like, I wish that they would just cheat on me so I can move on. I wish that they would, become physical with me so I can move on. But the thing is that once this person does that, the other person still sticks around. It wasn't enough for them to get out of the relationship.
Sometimes we can just move the goalposts,
Like it just keeps going and going. So when is enough enough? Just like addiction, like we know that they're lying constantly. We know that they're doing these things and we know that we're being harmed, but it's not enough. Like when is it going to be enough?
Yeah. Rarely will the universe force your hand. Sometimes it does. But most of the time, what we'll get to is that we hit rock bottom when we stop digging. That's how you hit rock bottom. There's no such event that exists that will make you do what you need to do.
But you think that it will.
We do.
We think that. We think that if we just had this one thing that's going to be the worst thing, then we will get out of it. But there are times, like I said, that the worst thing happens, but you still stick around in it.
We're really good at doing this. It's a psychological defense in some ways. It's like it's the trap of being comfortably numb almost.
Okay.
I had this in addiction, and then if you've struggled with substances, you can relate. I always thought there'd be some event in my life that would get me sober. And I thought it would be something positive at first. I thought that a good event was going to get me sober, like graduating from college and then getting married to you and then having children. I thought all these things were going to make me grow out of it. And conversely, I figured that at some point it was just a matter of time before I got a DWI or a DUI or I got arrested for possession or something like that. And that would do it. But that's just not true. It's not true on either side, because I know more people than I can count that have spent time in prison, that have lost friends and loved ones, that have been living on the streets homeless, that have been OD'd and nearly died several times. And it's just not enough. Consequences, they are what you make of them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I believe that we hit rock bottom when we stopped digging. But the region beta paradox is just this, it's this idea that if our situations were worse, it would actually be better for the end result, which is what we truly want generally, which is to be happy.
Yeah.
We want to be happy, or we want to get somewhere faster, or like in the walking in car example. In the situation where you're in a bad job, like getting fired. But you're right. Sometimes we can stay in these situations forever.
Yeah.
Like Sandlot, forever. We can stay there forever. So there's this equation that I've used forever, and it's time plus pain equals change. And I think it fits this pretty nicely.
I think so too.
Time plus pain equals change. And the variables there.
That's what this should be called.
We'll call it that. So time is a variable, but it's a variable that we can only control if we make a decision. Pain is a variable that we can kind of control, and that's the one that I'd like to explore. I have always said that consequences are what ultimately got me sober. And what's funny is that studies like you can look at craft, for instance, the craft method. I'd love to discuss that with Ms. Hollingworth, who's coming on pretty soon. Craft is a method that to help you get your loved one sober, to help get them into treatment. They use positive reinforcement methods. They have studies that back this, that show that positive reinforcement is more effective at getting someone to change their behavior than consequences. And we know this. Look at the penal system. How effective is it? Right? How effective is our judicial system? Yeah. Not very. I mean, repeat offenders there are. And when someone gets arrested, they're actually more likely to repeat and end up back in those situations, especially after a certain period of time. The chances they go back are so high, it's insane. It's not really rehabilitation. It's just punishment. Yeah. It's consequences, right?
Right.
So, but I think when it comes to inside of ourselves and personally, I think that the pain factor is crucial, because you talk to anyone who's ever done what I've done, which is recovering, put together a few days, who's ever come out the other side of this, talk to any one of us and we'll tell you it was the pain that got me sober.
Right.
It was the pain. Is when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain associated with change, we decide to do something different. And I think that is a universal truth that is in anything in life. And I think that something beautiful about that is that you don't have to wait for that event that occurs randomly to get the activation energy to change your circumstances. You don't have to wait for it. You can cause it yourself. Yeah. You can do a few things. And so when it comes to that equation, time plus pain equals change, I think that we can look at like our pain tolerance. Yeah. We have control over our pain tolerance or the level of pain that we're in. So you can actually increase your level of pain. Yes. You can increase that by doing certain things. You can change your standards, which will increase your pain and create this dissonance between the person that you want to be and the person that you are. You can write this stuff out. You can journal it. You can build an accountability group around you that's going to call you on your shit. Like here lately, I've considered just quitting my job, and it would be the fear of not having income that would, I know, drive me and give me the energy to go do something else. Yeah. But otherwise I will sit here for the next 20 years bitching about the same thing.
No, you won't. If you do, you're doing it silently or with a therapist.
Fair enough. But I think there's something to that pain piece though, which is like create as much discomfort in your life as you possibly can by looking at reality. Like Dr. Porter had that quote, and he said, mental health is a commitment to reality, no matter the cost. Yes. Like at all costs, mental health is a commitment to reality. What is reality? What is it really? Not the bullshit you tell yourself, and not this
the delusions.
Yeah. The sort of delusionary story that you've created so that you can sleep at night. Like the real truth of it all is simply that this is an awful situation that I should not be in. What do I have to do to get out of it?
Yeah.
And we know a lot of wheelies that have done this. They've just jumped.
Yes, they have. They didn't wait for that one thing to happen. It was enough pain throughout the years or whatever to where they decided, you know, I'm not doing that anymore. You didn't hit a hard rock bottom. Like you decided to change pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't quickly, obviously, but you didn't lose everything before you decided to make a change.
No.
You didn't wait.
Didn't.
You did not wait for that to happen.
Yeah. And it's almost like this curse of being in a lukewarm bath. Like it's not warm enough to be soothing and it's not quite cold enough to jolt you out. It's just kind of neutral. Mm-hmm. And this is where a lot of people spend their time. You just sit there because it's comfortable,
Familiar.
even if it's far from what's ideal. Mm-hmm. And that's the essence of the region beta paradox. It's sometimes the discomfort isn't quite bad enough to force change. So we linger in this mediocrity instead of leaping toward growth. And we've all been there. Everyone has been there. And it's like I said, like the semi-stable job that pays just enough that pays the bills, but makes you miserable. It's a relationship that's just okay, but lacks true connection. It's a habit that slowly drains your energy, but doesn't quite ruin your life. And I was in that position. Like I'm what they consider a high bottom alcoholic or addict.
Right.
I didn't have to lose everything to get to that point.
No.
And I remember when I first got sober and I started attending meetings and stuff, this guy pulled me aside and he's like, "You're one of the lucky ones." I was like, "I don't know what you mean." He was like, "You don't know how many years that you've saved yourself and your family.
Seriously.
You don't, because you didn't have to go through what I went through to get to the same place. You didn't have to do it, but you were headed there." And that's what ultimately got me sober. It was hearing enough stories from people who were 20, 30 years older than me. And they were telling me what it was like. And I could see all the similarities in them. I'm like, I'm just like him. I'm just like her. I'm just like that person. Why wouldn't it happen to me if it happened to them?
Right.
We can have this, "Oh, I'm different," right? "Oh, I'm different." No, it will happen. It ain't gonna happen to me. Yeah, right. That's right. You can create your own rock bottom, your proverbial rock bottom.
Yeah.
But hitting an actual rock bottom is not a requirement. It's like an elevator. You can get off on any floor that you want to. So if you're miserable right now, you don't have to wait for some black swan event that causes you to create that energy. You can just do it yourself. I think that's amazing. It's like, if that's not a beautiful thing to hear for people who have free will and agency, go do it. What is it that you want to achieve? Go do it.
And you don't have to have a specific reason to be done with something either. And a lot of people feel like they have to have a specific reason or something.
Okay. Yeah. Like in relationships,
like in a relationship, mm-hmm.
or even a job or anything else.
Anything. Like if it's not what you want, if it's not really fulfilling you, you can do something different.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. You don't have to.
You don't have to have a reason, specific.
I think we look for reasons that we can justify a lot of the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because if you can't justify it, then you're going to second guess yourself.
Right. Or you'll have other people question you and ask you, "Well, what did we do? What did I do wrong?" But if you're confident in your decision of like, "You know what? I don't really know. I just want something different." That's okay. That's acceptable. It really is.
It really is.
You don't have to have justifications for everything that you choose to do.
There's no jury out there that's going to say, "Okay, well, did he put his hands on you? Did he cheat on you?" And if the answers are no, then you're only free to leave if those two things happen. That's just not true.
Right.
If you've been miserable for a long, this is your life too. If you want to go be happy, go seek happy.
Yeah.
Whatever that means for you.
Right.
And if you're if struggling with substance use, you don't have to wait until things fall apart completely. You can get off right now.
Yep.
You can stop right now and save yourself 30, 40 years. Because here's what I can promise you is that the pattern of your life, which is go through a period of using, it gets out of control, and then you step back and you manage it for a little while, and then it's followed by another period of getting out of control, and then you manage it, and then it gets out of control, then you that will continue for the rest of your life until you just stop.
Yeah.
You're probably a smart person. You're not going to learn how to manage it. You're just not. Like, why not just at that point admit defeat and be like, okay, do something different.
Doesn't it get shorter too, though? Like, let's say you...
those intervals get shorter and shorter and shorter. Yes,
right,
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Like you over time, you don't gain more control. You actually lose it.
Lose it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really strange how that works.
Yeah.
But if something in your life feels lukewarm, if it's your career or your relationship or your health, like consider this a wake up call of sorts. And you can ask yourself some questions like, what would happen if I demanded more from myself right now? Or what am I tolerating that I'd be better off just letting go of? Or what am I afraid of losing that's keeping me stuck here? Journal on those things. Ask yourself these kinds of questions. What am I holding on to and why? You'll likely see that it's fear of something. It's usually the unknown that we're scared of, but many others have been through it. This is the reason we created a community.
Yeah.
But I would also challenge people. So I guarantee you that your biggest periods of growth in your entire life have come after a painful event of some kind.
Yeah.
Every single time. We don't change when things are good. We change when things are bad, which is why I wonder about the data when it comes to like craft and whatnot. I think that's about loved one support. And I think the goal is to get people into treatment.
Yeah.
But I know from people who have recovered from this thing that it's always the bad shit that gets us there.
Right.
You know, it's
because you're
the
doing
tough
it for
stuff.
yourself at that point.
We have to get so miserable that we don't want to be this way anymore and we're willing to try something else.
Right.
But that comes with misery. It doesn't come with like praise and reward in my experience anyway. And I'm open to a conversation if someone has a retort to that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm absolutely right. I just haven't seen it. I've never experienced it either. I've never had real change come from some kind of a reward. Have you?
No. And from what I've witnessed with certain people that do that, it actually got worse and not better. It was more of a Band-Aid than actual change. I feel like it's almost enabling.
In some way, but I think it's, if you think about like with children or like with pets and like we're trying to train a dog.
Yeah.
Like giving a dog positive reinforcement goes a
yeah.
lot further, and you reward those behaviors and let them know those behaviors are good, and you have boundaries around the bad ones.
Well, I've done that with you within our entire relationship. That's something that made it different. Like I wasn't a complete bitch to you. You know, it's not like I made your life miserable for you to change.
No,
like,
you just had boundaries.
I just had boundaries and I was getting, tired of them, but I was still kind to you.
Yeah,
to certain,
you were supportive when you saw good things.
Yeah, I was. Like, I'm the type of person who's like, hey, thanks for taking out the trash. Like, I don't care if you were supposed to do that. Like, I appreciate, it's not even you helping me either. It's just, I would thank anybody for doing something like that. It's just by being kind and just being nice. And that's positivity. That's just like positive reinforcement. But that's just natural to me. That's just how I am. And it's not to like manipulate or control you. It's really just me showing you that I appreciate you.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
I think Diane Sawyer said that marriage is a competition of generosity. Mm-hmm. And I love that frame because that's generally what it is. Like I will be generous to you, and it's a two-way street, right? It's like we're going to exchange generosity and appreciation for one another. Mm-hmm. And you do that and good things happen.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. Like in comment sections, I saw this video on TikTok, and this woman had posted that her husband, who travels a lot for work, came home, spent time with the kids, and then he had to get up early for a flight, and he stayed up late and he cleaned the entire house and left her a note like, "Hey, honey, I love you." And she appreciated it. And so she filmed it, like everything he'd done. And she was really proud of him and like just thankful and grateful.
Yeah.
And she posted it and then proceeded to get absolutely roasted in the comments. Everyone's saying, why does he get thanked for something that he should be doing?
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, but you've even brought this up to me too. When you go to a restaurant and somebody brings you your food or they clean off your table, are you not going to thank them because it's their fucking job? Or are you just going to be kind and say thank you? Like, I mean, what is the problem with thanking somebody for just doing something kind? And even just not even... I don't understand. It's gone too far when it comes to that with women. Like, spouses...
I think that's born out of resentment, honestly. I think it's born out of resentment from people who have done the right thing almost their entire lives, have never been thanked for it.
Yeah.
Whether they had parents that never recognized it or a spouse or partner that never recognized it or told them that I appreciate you and I see you.
Yeah.
When they see someone else getting it, they feel invalidated. Like, why do they get praise and I don't? What makes me inferior to them? And it comes out of just anger. Because I think that if you really cornered them and ask them, like, do you appreciate when people do nice things for you? They're not going to be like, well, are they supposed to do that nice thing? You know, it's just kind of crazy to me. But I think there is also a standard there, a double standard, where how many husbands are making videos posting, my wife cleaned the house today and she cooked dinner and I really appreciate it. There's just not a lot of them.
Yeah. I mean, like...
And you can understand why someone would be a little like peeved by it.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I didn't understand the vitriol, man. She was being sweet.
Yeah.
Like they had a really kind relationship, nice. It seemed like. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I'll make dinner and you'll thank me for making you dinner.
Every time.
Like you're thankful for it. And it's like.
Appreciate so much. It's delicious.
And some men may say, well, she's supposed to do that. You know, why are you thanking her? Like, it's mutual respect. Like,
Something you do that cracks me up.
People overthink this shit so much and it irritates the piss out of me. Quit overthinking this shit.
Yeah. It's something that cracks me up, and you've always done this. Whenever we go out to dinner, like as a family.
You're going to bring this up.
And we have a joint bank account.
Oh, I have since we were 18 years old.
Our primary credit card is actually in her name.
Uh-huh.
My big thing was if I ever got hit by a bus or something, I want you to be able to. I want you to have
the credit.
Or if I do something stupid one day, you shouldn't have to suffer because I was the breadwinner or whatever. But yeah, I put the credit card down on the table for the server, and then you'll be like, "Thank you," and I'm like, "Honey, like it's our funds, but it's a thing you do because you appreciate it, and you just say thank you when you see something that you appreciate." And I think that's a great quality.
I don't do it as much as I used to, but I mean, I'll still do it. But also, here's the thing. I want to model this type of behavior for my children.
That too.
I want them to recognize the mutual respect you should have for your partner and thanking people when you want to thank them. People have this mentality that if you're thanking someone, it's like, I don't know, is it taboo or like they're supposed to be doing that. So why are you thinking? It's weird to me. I don't understand if I'm a Southern girl. So we have like crazy manners, you know, you thank you, please. I grew up with, anytime I would go to somebody's house, my mom would say, you need to say no, thank you, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, please. And it just kind of stuck with me. And when I met Matt, he didn't have the best manners.
I wasn't raised by people up north either. Raised by a bunch of massholes or something.
Yeah. Well, but I don't know. It's just part of my values, I guess. And I don't think there's anything wrong with thanking somebody for doing something, even if it's not like, I thank you for getting the trash bag or thank you for doing the dishes, but I'm not thanking you because it's my job. That's stupid. I'm thanking you just to say thank you. It's mutual fucking respect.
Yeah.
Sorry. I probably just went on.
No, you're good. That was a fun one to cover. Back to the beta region paradox.
Time plus pain equals change.
Time plus pain equals change. I think that the variable you can control there is pain. I really do. I think you can crank up the pain in your own life by really looking at reality and really asking yourself some serious questions. Also, I would challenge you to look at the opportunity cost of inaction. So like I said, I recognized I needed to get sober before it was what most would consider rock bottom. Like I don't have a cool rock bottom story really. It was an emotional rock bottom. It wasn't like this. I wasn't like in a high speed chase or anything like that. You know, I didn't have anything cool like that happen. Cool. You know what I mean? Just some wild ass story.
A story. That would be an interesting story.
But what are you sacrificing by choosing to do nothing? What is the opportunity cost of choosing to stay in this suboptimal situation versus what you could gain, the outsized return that you could get from taking action? And ask yourself, like, could it get worse? Yes, it could get worse, but it is very unlikely, if I would say impossible, that it will stay worse.
Yeah.
It just depends on what you value, I think.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Right? Yeah. Like if you value money, and it is going to be worse if you take a lower paying job. But if you value freedom and happiness, it will be infinitely better than it would have been otherwise. So I forgot who said it, but there are no such thing as decisions, only trade-offs.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no such thing as making a decision. It's a trade-off. Like you're trading one thing for another, and doing this thing, I'm choosing to do the other thing, which means I can never know what the other thing would have been like. Yeah. We take trade-offs in life. That's what we do. We don't really make decisions. So you're trading one thing for another. So are you willing to trade this, like your pretty family pictures on your Facebook profile? You trading that, which is the appearance of a happy family when you're actually miserable,
delusion,
for actual happiness where you don't get that photo and just say that I have this, this family that I've always wanted, but you're actually happy in life and you're truly fulfilled in life.
Yeah.
What's the opportunity cost of inaction? It's never knowing what it would have been like to be actually fucking happy.
Yeah.
To be fulfilled in life.
Right. Living by reality.
Take risks and you get outsized returns. With risk comes reward. Like we all know that, like finance principles. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
Yeah.
And sometimes you will lose. But I think
we learn from those.
You learn from them. You'll learn how to make the best of it. You are not as stuck as you think.
It's better to take those risks than to stay stagnant and it getting worse.
Yeah. Think about it when it comes to diet and weight loss too. It's that time of the year. People are trying to get in shape. Everyone's trying to change a lot right now, which is, hey, if you're trying to change, we've got a course out there that can help you do that too. But a lot of people are trying to get in shape. you don't have to wait for the scale to get 100 pounds over your ideal weight before you decide to do something. You can stop it now, because here's something else I know is that the further you let this go, the harder it is to change.
For sure.
It's harder because there's this emotional inertia where it's just, it gets comfortable to stay stuck.
Yeah, because it's the familiar part of you.
It's just familiar, man.
And then when you do lose the weight and you start looking different, it's going to be uncomfortable as hell because it is not familiar. I'll tell you that from experience.
It's also uncomfortable to put down the sugar that's really comforting, and the lovely foods that make you feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Going through that detox.
While you're going through sugar detox, while you're eating chicken and vegetables.
I'm going to be doing that this week. You're welcome.
Healthy fats and all that stuff. It's worth it. Like, it's more painful, but you're better off for it. And it's crazy that we don't see this when we're in it. It's absolutely nuts. But I would challenge you to ask yourself what would happen if you demanded more from yourself right now. That will increase the pain in your life. It will make you look at things even harder. What am I tolerating that I'd be better off letting go of? That will increase the pain in your life. And what am I afraid of losing that's keeping me stuck? That will increase the pain. And we're trying to increase the pain here. We're trying to.
Our course helps you get to that pain quicker, in my opinion, because it does open doors to reality.
That's what it is. The first half of that course is just, let's look at reality.
That's why a lot of people hesitate to start it. And I understand that and I get it, but it is a very freeing process. Just ask the people who have taken it. It's pretty incredible, the things that they've gone through once they opened their eyes to reality.
Yeah. And if you know that you need to change, but the event is unlikely to occur, like that someone would never put their hands on you or whatever else, first of all, that could happen. I wouldn't write that off completely, but you can just make that decision now. You can just decide that I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. No different than I decided, like, I don't want to use drugs and alcohol anymore, even though comparatively my story is nowhere near as severe as some others, or you don't have to wait till you're 100 pounds overweight to start that diet. You can just do it now. You can look at the reality of a situation and say that this is really unhealthy where I'm at right now. And it will get worse if I don't do anything about it. I have to do something. But find me anyone that's made impressive changes that we all admire in their life. And they all had this moment. They all had this moment, this rock bottom moment. And the cool thing about rock bottom is that you get to decide what that looks like for you. Yep. You get to decide, because in my experience, most people just keep digging. Rock bottom is when you keep digging. You'll be amazed at how manageable, quote unquote, manageable it feels to be in complete dysfunction. You just keep digging. You just keep going. Oh, look, there's a DWI, whatever. I'm just going to keep on digging. Oh, look, she left me, whatever. I'll just keep on digging. When you could have stopped digging years ago. Yeah. Don't be that person. Right. Don't live with those kinds of regrets. Yeah. Hopefully this has been a helpful episode. It's something I liked it. I think it's been some fun concepts to consider. The beta region paradox is something I covered in an episode, or not an episode, but in a newsletter recently. And if you're not signed up for that, go to our website. I post them as a blog, usually like within a week of releasing them, but there's still a lot of backlog ones I haven't done yet. But the newsletter is pretty consistent. That comes out every Monday morning. Yeah. And into your inbox. So I'll have this one up there here pretty soon, since we've talked about it on the episode. And if you didn't get it and you want to read it, then you can. Yep. But journal on some things, look at reality and see how you can increase that pain in your life to the point where you're willing to do something different. Yep. Just take the leap. Take the leap. We know many people who have left without what many would consider, quote unquote, valid reasons to leave a relationship. And I don't know a single one who's more miserable. Not a single person. Right. So if that's you, you don't have to stay in lukewarm mediocrity forever. Yep. And kind of back to the beginning, you can get through this, and it can be a beautiful life together if you're both doing the work. That's the important piece. Yep. Both have to be doing it. All right. We're good. We're good. I got to go potty. All right. It's time to get going. Yes. All right. We'll see y'all next week. Until next time, I'm Matt. I'm Paige. And we'll see you. Bye.